On the nice evening of April 28, 2007, the McCann family from Britain went on a vacation in Portugal. There were 5 of them: Kate McCann, Jerry McCann, and 3 kids: Madeleine, Sean, and Emily. Everything was normal until May 3, 2007, when their daughter Madeleine was taken from her bed with no clue left behind. Seconds turned to minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days, days into months, months into years. Long after a decade, her fate still remains unknown. In the spring of 2007, seeking a respite from their busy lives in the UK, the McCanns planned a holiday to Praia da Luz in Portugal. This serene coastal town, known for its stunning beaches and friendly locals, promised a much-needed break for the family. They were joined by a group of family friends, later known as the Tapa 7, who were also vacationing with their children. As they settled into their holiday routine, filled with days by the pool and evenings enjoying the local cuisine, there was no hint of the tragedy that was about to unfold. The McCanns, like any other family, were there to create lasting memories. But fate had other plans. On May 3, 2007, a day that began with the ordinary joys of a family vacation, the McCann family enjoying the pleasant offerings of the resort. Madeleine, along with her siblings, spent the day playing, swimming, and basking in the joy of a carefree holiday. As the sun began to set, the McCanns returned to their apartment. The children, tired from the day's activities, were put to bed by their parents. Madeleine was asleep in her bed, wearing pink pajamas, her favorite. At 7:30 p.m., Kate and Jerry McCann left the apartment to join their friends, the Tapa 7, at a nearby restaurant within the resort complex. This was a routine they had followed during their stay, taking turns to check on their children throughout the evening. Between 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., the parents alternated in checking on their children. Each visit confirmed the children, including Madeleine, were sleeping peacefully. The McCanns and their friends continued their evening, unaware of the horror that was about to unfold. At 10 p.m., Kate finished eating and went back to her apartment. She noticed the kids' bedroom door was a little open. When she tried to close it, a sudden breeze slammed it shut. Kate thought she might have left the patio doors open, but she hadn't. To check on her daughter Madeleine without turning on the light and waking the kids, Kate opened the door a bit again. She couldn't see Madeleine and got worried. Thinking Madeleine might be in their bedroom, Kate quickly went there, but Madeleine wasn't there. Panicking, she rushed back to the children's bedroom. A gust of wind coincidentally blew open the curtains, and Kate saw the raised shutter and the open window. She realized someone had taken Madeleine. In a hurry, Kate searched the apartment and checked unlikely hiding spots with a glimmer of hope. She ended up running out the back of the apartment. When she saw Jerry and their friends, she couldn't keep it in any longer and screamed, "Madeleine's gone!" The alarm had been raised. When Jerry and friends heard about it, they in disbelief jumped up from the table and ran back to the apartment. They immediately started searching. All the places Kate had already checked, wardrobes, kitchen cupboards, all were double-checked. 4 men split up. They went around the immediate block of apartments, searching for Madeleine. They all met back at McCann's apartment and decided to call the police. The hotel staff, who were off duty, started a child search straight away, checking all the pooleries and everything. A report was made about a missing person named Madeleine. She has blonde hair, blue-green eyes, a small brown spot on her left calf, and a distinctive dark strip on her right iris. The police were informed, and authorities at borders and airports were alerted. The people at the location, as well as guests, were very watchful, and many volunteers joined to help find Madeleine. Next morning, as the first light of day broke, the gravity of the situation began to sink in. The local community, touched by the family's plight, joined the search efforts. Police dogs were brought in, and the search extended to caves and coastal areas nearby. During the daytime, the Portuguese police commenced interviews with guests and staff at the Ocean Club Resort. Forensic teams meticulously examined the McCann's apartment for any clues. The area was cordoned off as a potential crime scene. For the next 2 days, the search for Madeleine intensified. Police, alongside volunteers, combed through the village, the surrounding countryside, and the coastline. The McCanns, in a state of despair, made their first public appeal for information, a plea that echoed around the world. The local police didn't have enough people to find their little girl quickly. On May 7th, the Portuguese police publicly acknowledged the possibility that Madeleine had been abducted. The investigation's scope widened, with international law enforcement agencies, including those from the UK, joining the search and investigation efforts. The first name that came up on the suspect list was Robert Murat, a British guy living in Portugal near where Madeleine disappeared. He became a suspect because a journalist told the police he was asking about the case. Murat lived in a house with his mom, and it was only a few blocks away from where the McCanns lived. On May 15th, the police went into Murat's house with sniffer dogs to find proof. They also checked other houses close by where Murat's family and friends lived, but they didn't find anything connecting him to the crime. During questioning, Murat said he just wanted to know because he also had a daughter in England the same age and said he didn't have anything to do with Madeleine disappearing. His mom testified she was with him at home on the night Madeleine went missing. Having no connection to the vanishing incident, Murat's status as a suspect was lifted on July 21, 2008. The McCanns traveled to Rome on May 30th to meet the Pope, seeking spiritual support and further international attention for their cause. Over a month passed, but there was no clue. It felt like the 3-year-old girl just vanished into thin air. Jerry McCann couldn't wait anymore, so he consulted with Danny Krugel, a retired South African detective and a specialist for finding missing persons. He had a secret weapon, a device like in a science fiction film, a matter orientation system using quantum detection to trace objects, a high-tech compass for finding lost people. Suppose finding a few hairs. Krugel could put them in his gadget, and he'd show on a map where that person might be in the world. Most of the folks he tracked down using this were found okay. The McCanns were so impressed that they urgently asked for his help. Time was ticking. Just 6 weeks after Madeleine went missing, Krugel arrived in Portugal. With strands of hair from her brush, he tried to find her using his special system. The gadget searched within a kilometer around the hotel. But days went by, and there was still no sign of Madeleine. Then, there was a surprise when the police found something unexpected. In McCann's car, they discovered traces of the child's blood. This shifted the focus to her parents. Because of this, on the 100th day, August 11th, the police also said Madeleine might not be alive. Police named Kate and Jerry McCann as arguidos, or formal suspects, in the case. Kate and Jerry McCann were questioned separately by the Portuguese police for over 11 hours. The focus of the investigation seemed to shift, with increasing speculation in the media about the parents' involvement. The McCanns, maintaining their innocence, returned to the UK with their twins on September 9th. Despite being named as suspects, they vowed to continue the search for Madeleine. For nearly a year, Jerry and Kate McCann stayed on the prime suspect list, and on July 2008, the Portuguese authorities lifted the arguido status from Kate and Jerry McCann, citing a lack of evidence to support any charges against them. During this time, a lot of leads were explored, including a group of dubious charity collectors in the vicinity during Madeleine's disappearance. Various stories circulated about men posing as orphanage fundraisers in a village named Espiche, which later turned out to be non-existent. The police also found out about one collector who seemed interested in little girls, which was disturbing. Despite this discovery, the Portuguese authorities couldn't catch these guys because they didn't have enough resources. Feeling frustrated and dealing with accusations, the McCann family raised money on their own and were ready to do whatever it took to find the truth about their daughter's disappearance. So in 2008, the McCanns hired a private investigator named Kevin Halligan from Oakley International along with his partner Tim Craig Harvey, to find Madeleine. They named it Operation Omega GA, and Halligan seemed like a big deal. He had a history of helping in a big money deal and even freeing a guy from jail in Africa. The McCanns gave him $300,000 and a 6-month contract to find Madeleine. They started from scratch on the first anniversary, talking to everyone again. The big lead they got was a description of a suspicious charity collector. Tall, skinny, messy with bad teeth and a mustache. They followed this lead to the local gypsy community, thinking they might know something. There was a rumor about gypsies being involved in strange activities like kidnapping and child abuse. They focused on a guy named George, who matched the description and was seen at a local market in Portugal. The team was getting close, and things were getting intense. Back in 2009, Jerry McCann returned to Portugal for the first time since his daughter went missing. The police also found another person they thought might be involved, named Raymond Hewlett. He was in the Algarve exactly when Madeleine disappeared. Hewlett had a history of doing bad things to kids, but he and his family kept saying they had nothing to do with Madeleine's disappearance, giving him a clean slate. Hewlett later went to Germany and wouldn't answer questions when private detectives hired by the McCanns tried to talk to him. He died of throat cancer the next year. Before he died, he wrote a letter to his son Wayne saying that Madeleine might have been taken by a gang from Belgium who ordered her. Unfortunately, nobody looked into this further. On the other hand, Halligan's team got a picture of George and showed it to Jane Tanner, a friend on vacation with the McCanns who had seen a suspicious man with a child before. Jane said, "That's the guy who took the child." With this confirmation, George became the main suspect, and the team started a big search. 3 months into their investigation, it seemed like they were close to solving the case. But then, a devastating blow hit the McCanns. In the middle of the search during Operation Omega, Tim Craig Harvey found shocking news on a Sunday morning. Kevin Halligan was all over the front page of the newspaper, not because he solved the case, but for serious scams and fraud charges. The Operation Omega team was shocked to find out that Halligan was wanted for fraud. He had disappeared to Rome with the remaining money. Further investigation revealed that Halligan wasn't who everyone thought he was. Kevin was not even his real name. He made up 70% of his identity. Even his fancy wedding in DC was fake, with the ceremony done by a local actor. Despite these setbacks, Craig Harvey stayed hopeful. He thought the team was close to a breakthrough, pointing to Gypsy George as a credible lead. According to him, Madeleine was taken for pedophilia. His theory suggested she was killed, and her body might be in the sewer in Praia da Luz. The McCanns, facing loss, accusations, and fraud, still decided to continue their search for Madeleine. In May 2011, under Home Secretary Theresa May, Scotland Yard started an investigative review, Operation Grange, with a team of 29 detectives and 8 civilians. In 2012, they suggested Madeleine might still be alive. They even showed a picture of what she might look like as a 9-year-old. However, to the McCanns' disappointment, the police surprisingly received a tip that Madeleine's body might be buried near where she disappeared, completely changing the story. The next year, the London police created another suspect list and wanted to reopen the case, even though the Portuguese police didn't agree. Additionally, the London police contacted the Australian police because they found a child's body in a suitcase near Adelaide. 2 days later, they confirmed that the girl was not Madeleine. But with many false alarms, the attention shifted away from the case, and the number of police officers involved was reduced. In the months following Madeleine's disappearance, there were multiple reported sightings in Portugal and other European countries. These included a widely publicized sighting in Morocco. A photograph taken by a Spanish tourist showed a blonde girl resembling Madeleine being carried on a woman's back. The image sparked a flurry of activity, with investigators and media descending on the area. The McCanns, hopeful for a breakthrough, closely monitored the developments. After thorough investigation by Moroccan and British authorities, it was determined that the girl in the photograph was not Madeleine. The girl was identified as a local Moroccan child, dashing the hopes raised by the sighting. A shop assistant in Amsterdam, Anna Stam, recalls an encounter with a little girl in her party shop accompanied by an unfamiliar couple. Unaware of Madeleine's disappearance, Stam attempted to gift the child a balloon, but she declined, expressing a desire only for her mother. The child claimed these people had separated her from her mom. When questioned about her name, the girl initially said Maggie, but later corrected it to Maddie. The investigation by the police into this incident remains unclear, and sadly, none of these sightings have ever been confirmed. Now fast forward to 2019, when everyone seemed to accept the disappearance. A Netflix documentary series added a new layer to the Madeleine McCann mystery, reigniting interest in the investigation. The documentary revealed that 10 months after Maddie's disappearance, a Scotland Yard officer reported a Belgium connection. Intelligence suggested that a Belgium pedophile ring ordered a young girl the day before Maddie's abduction. A member took a photo of Maddie, sent it to Belgium, and upon approval, she was taken. Portuguese police also followed the lead, but didn't find success. Surprisingly, the McCann family criticized the Netflix documentary. Despite their criticism, the documentary brought the case back into the spotlight. And so, there comes a twist in the tale. After 13 long years since she vanished, a breakthrough emerged in the year 2020. It marked the most significant development in over a decade. In the German city of Braunschweig, the police brought a new suspect to light. A German man, previously convicted for sex offenses, suddenly took the spotlight. The revelation came when he allegedly confessed to a fellow at a bar about his involvement in Madeleine's disappearance. This man, Christian Brueckner, had a troubling history of sexual offenses against children, as well as a track record of assault, burglary, theft, and even drug dealing. The suspect is connected to an early 1980s VW camper van, suspiciously spotted near the area where Madeleine disappeared in 2007. This vehicle was first registered in his own name. Scotland Yard says he was driving the van around Praia da Luz before Madeleine went missing. Shockingly, he's known to have sent really sick messages, like swapping bad pictures with an undertaker and talking about locking up a child. Just a day after Madeleine disappeared, it looks like he changed the car's registration to someone else's name. Right now, Brueckner is in jail for an unrelated sex crime, and he was convicted twice before for sexual contact with girls. There is some circumstantial evidence that might connect the man currently in a German prison to the case. For instance, he lived on the Algarve in Portugal at the time, had criminal convictions, led a fairly transient lifestyle, and drove a camper van-type vehicle. However, this evidence is circumstantial and not direct proof linking him to the crime scene, and the disappearance of Madeleine. At the moment, it seems that there isn't sufficient evidence to charge anyone directly in connection with the case. In May 2023, Portuguese investigators received an undisclosed tip leading them to search the Arade Dam, a location referred to as Christian Brueckner's Little Paradise, situated approximately 30 miles from where Madeleine was taken. Investigators speculated that the girl might have been killed and thrown into the dam. German prosecutor Hans Christian Wolters claimed they found new evidence suggesting that Madeleine McCann was killed by Christian Brueckner. However, the German authorities did not provide further details about the Reservoir search, only indicating its connection to the criminal process in Portugal. Then, in a twist that seemed like something out of a fairy tale, Julia Wendell stepped into the spotlight. Julia, a 21-year-old from Poland, claimed that she might be the long-lost Madeleine McCann. The world was stunned. Could it be true? Could this young woman be the missing child everyone had been searching for all these years? Julia's claim sparked a flurry of media attention. She shared her story on social media, capturing the hearts and imaginations of people across the globe. A private investigator delved into the case, uncovering hospital records that added layers to Julia's claim. The possibility that Julia could be Madeleine brought a glimmer of hope to a case that had long seemed hopeless. The world waited with bated breath as DNA tests were conducted to determine the truth of her identity. Finally, the results came in, and the truth was revealed. Julia Wendell was not Madeleine McCann. The revelation was a twist in the tale that left many feeling a mix of relief and disappointment. Despite 16 years of relentless searching, with extensive reporting making it the most widely covered missing person case in modern history, nothing concrete has been found, and there's no clear clue about what happened to her. Investigators' 16-year ordeal persists, marked by many unusual aspects: the leaving of the children, the fact that Madeleine has never been found, and the absence of anyone being charged in connection with the case. It stands out as probably the most famous crime of the 21st century worldwide, and yet no one has faced charges. Brueckner will have his trial in 2024. It's now confirmed. He will be in court starting from February 16th. And until now, the mystery of Madeleine McCann remains unsolved. What are your thoughts on what might have happened to the girl? Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't miss out on the upcoming shocking tales. Hit that subscribe button now.